Let me
Right.
find you on the YouTube.
There we
Oh,
go.
there you are on the YouTube. Today's June 16th. Viva la Raza. Nice
hmm
shirts. Are those NASCARs I see in the background?
Yes, those are that. That's the NASCAR. My back's covering the lone IndyCar. I don't have enough IndyCar. I have one IndyCar diecast. That's got to change. Hopefully
I'm
soon.
sure it will the next time we go on a trip.
And this is why we need a racing show as well. We can expand, grow the business.
I don't know.
Wrestling racing. There you go. There's our show title right there.
I don't
Hello,
know.
Ray.
Ray's in the house. All right. Let's put this
Bring
up.
back SCU, please.
No. No, I like the Men of the Year.
We could have had an off-screen or an off-the-air SCU reunion.
Um, no, because they lost the match. Remember?
Whatever.
Lost the match.
I just want AEW in Canada already. Like, come on.
I do want our pay per view. All right, so welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined on the other end of the tin cannon string this week by CJ
Yep.
and by Easy.
Hey, yo.
And we got a lot to talk about. We took last week off because it was just kind of like heard a lot of stuff going on, and we actually went. CJ and I actually went on a small trip to Metropolis, Illinois, to the Superman celebration. So that was really fun. Um, if not hot, but it was fun.
What was that
Um,
celebration for us? I saw the pictures.
there is a town kind of on the Illinois Kentucky border called Metropolis. And it is like a small town, but it is like been dubbed by DC Comics as the official home of Superman. So every year their like small town festival is called the Superman Celebration. It's like small town fair and part Comic Con. I mean, they have like your carnival games and your fair
So I
food and your
guess
rides and things like that. And then they also have like artists and writers and actors and actresses from those sorts of
so I
shows.
guess you would call it a Smallville celebration.
It is more like Smallville.
Aha.
It is a little bit more like Smallville than it is.
I have made the ironic comment that the home of Superman, named Metropolis in Illinois, is in fact a replica of Smallville.
It is. And I got to meet two of Smallville's biggest stars, Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum. So that was cool.
I never got into it as a kid. It's like I just see it on. It's like cool.
When you're a nerd and you want like and you're young and you like superheroes, but this is before like there was an MCU and a bunch of superhero movies, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like mainstream. Having something like Smallville was just like, well, I gotta take the good where I can get it, and that was where I
My
could get
nerd
it.
stuff was my nerd stuff was always racing or Robot Wars, and then BattleBots.
Well, I mean, this was I was a comic guy, so that was you know that was good for me. And it wasn't the greatest show, but Lex and Clark were good, and I met Lex and Clark. Got autographs from both of them. Didn't pay for a behind the glass picture with them because I just kind of thought like that was too expensive for a picture behind glass, but still.
Yeah.
Um, and Jerry Lawler was there.
As always.
Yeah,
Hey,
like he makes
okay.
the trip every year. One year he literally drove his Batmobile there, like straight
That's a
up.
fun fact I just learned.
Yeah, he owns a Batmobile and he drove it to Metropolis. So, but this week we CJ and I went to Dynamite. More on that a little bit later. But if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I met CJ locally. I met Easy at All In and StarCast. We love wrestling. We love talking about wrestling. We love sharing our love of pro wrestling with each and every one of you out there. However, just like each and every one of you out there, we're just fans. Our opinions of that any other fan out there. We avoid insider terms because at the end of the day, we are not insiders. We are not wrestlers. We are just a bunch of fucking marks.
How is that not a t-shirt?
Because MJF quit and doesn't have t-shirts anymore.
Well, someone could make it. Pro Wrestling Tees, hello. You just
He
make your own.
doesn't
You don't
have
have to put-
t-shirts
You don't
anymore.
have to say MJF. Doesn't have to say MJF. You can just say fucking marks. Like the EC F&W shirts.
But that's related to MJF, and MJF's not associated with anything anymore. He's been suspended or whatever. He's not there.
But he's there with us in spirits because we are fucking marks.
He was in St. Louis last night with some of our chants, but that's besides the point. Firstly, we're going to talk about something we didn't get the chance to talk about since we did not do a stream last week, and that is the AEW All Atlantic Championship.
Okay, so that's how we're starting the show.
I know, got some Miss Ace in the house. What's up? Yeah, we're going all right.
Not sure how it's gonna end.
Not sure about that, but it's going all right now. So I know a lot of people are now going like, oh, but the matches have been so good for it. Like, what are you mad about? And I was like, but why though? First of all, Japan is on it, and Japan is not in the Atlantic.
And
China. Those are not in the Atlantic. Like at all. All Atlantic. No. Like, I don't know what I can say about it. It's just like, what is the point of this?
The word intercontinental, though, also exists, by the way.
And if you don't want to be that on the nose, international.
Yes.
Or an even better idea. Here's a crazy one. Like, just bear with me here. Here's like the craziest idea, and hopefully nobody is too shocked by this. But how about, get this? You ready for this? Not having another men's title belt. I know, right? That's fucking crazy.
Not another men's title belt?
Yeah.
But if I don't have another title belt, then how am I going to belt Miro or Aleister Black or all these other people that people say should have a belt on them?
But we have another title. It's called the TNT Championship. You know that's been getting cursed more than Danhausen.
I can't do that.
Is he Oprah Winfrey? You get a belt, and you get a belt, and you get a belt, and you get a belt.
And we already have that. We already have that FTW championship that's being held by Ricky Bobby. So yeah, even though it's not an official belt, the Bobsters got it. Or crap, is it Bobby?
He was not on the show at all last night, and that was
not even on fucking Dark.
He's at the Cardinal game though. How's about
that? What about Rampage? Or are we
not on Rampage?
He did.
I did not see Ricky Starks last night, and that's why their
what his
ratings
name
were low.
is? Shit, I thought it was Sparks McRichardson.
Yeah.
Sparky, boom, boom.
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Robin Sparkles. Robin Sparkles.
Not Robin Sparkles. Maybe that's why he wasn't on TV.
He went to the mall. Today.
I've only seen one episode of How I Met Your Mother. It was the cheeseburger episode. My toxic ex showed me that when we were dating.
Well, you need to watch Robin Sparkles.
Fun. It was okay. I mean, we were just filming on the show. It was awesome, but I never got into it.
You need to watch the Robin Sparkles one.
I will literally
They talk about how the 80s never got to Canada until 1993, and grunge didn't make it to Canada until 1997 when Robin Sparkles Robin Sparkles had a high-speed come apart on Grey Cup Sunday.
I'm serious.
That's what it was.
I know. I will literally use a How I Met Your Mother scene on how much I really don't care about the show. There's that one scene. I don't know if it was. Oh, I forget if it was the main character. He was trying to show a girl Star Wars, and she just wasn't interested. That's how I feel with How I Met Your Mother. I just don't care. Also, I'm Team Friends.
Why not both?
I like
One's
both.
funnier.
I like both. Both is good. But anyway, just what was like
Right.
seriously like what the actual like why like
I-
this is like this is like the most baffling like this is one of those baffling decisions like but why is this a thing? You know, I'm sure there's going to be some good match for it. So somebody who like is in the AEW does no wrong ever camp is going to be like, "Oh, but the matches are so great. It's made the title so much it's better than the Intercontinental title in WWE's ever been." Hardy har har har.
Yeah, but again, it makes us not only look geographically challenged because hello, China and Japan are nowhere near the Atlantic Ocean, but also just we don't need another belt. I mean, we see Britt Baker and Adam Cole having an Owen Hart Championship belt, which is like, okay, cool. Don't know why they need one anyway, but still, like the TNT Championship exists. I mean,
If
unless
they were
this
going
is
to introduce a new championship, it should have been the 6-man championships. Like
yes,
that's something that could have worked. Not another fucking singles title for the men. And definitely
well,
not a
getting
tag
hyped.
title or another singles title for the women. You gotta fix what you got going on there before you add new belts there. Like, I know
Is
a lot of
Tony Khan
people.
literally trying to? Is Tony trying to literally create the Infinity Stones here, like one for each finger?
It's very. I saw a tweet that it was very reminiscent of like back in the old Jim Crockett Promotions days, where they like just had like a ton of belts and you just didn't question it. Like there's the Western States Heritage Championship and all these different things, and it's like, you know, you just kind of whatever. Okay. Um,
And don't forget, we talked about how they have, the TNT title and stuff, but don't forget that right now we have like all the ROH belts being featured on AEW television. too.
Yes. I was gonna also say, hello, we have Ring of Honor. You want to create 1 billion belts? Ring of Honor already did it for us.
yeah, it's not a, you know, I
Freaking
don't want to give credence to like the e drones on the internet, but I'm serious when they say like Tony Khan is like just ran out of ideas and just gets on cocaine and it's all like tournaments and belts and tournaments and belts. Like I really can't argue that.
Except when he doesn't have a tournament, he decides to do like a battle royal.
Debuts.
Besides that,
Again,
like we do a whole like we've got this whole tournament going on that we haven't told anybody about, so we have to put the fucking ass boys in a battle royal for the fucking top belt. The ass boys.
This literally could have been a great like tournament for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Like that, I would have been.
There is a Ring of Honor
100% behind about.
Yeah. They have a Ring of Honor champion. He's not featured anywhere, but they have one.
I know. It's like, guys, we could do this. Freaking Wheeler Yuta, he's got the pure championship that he walks around with when he's featured. Like, guys, come on. Like, stop giving me a reason to hate wrestling again. For probably the 4th or 5th time, I forget now.
But yeah, I mean,
I forget now.
Oh,
yeah. I'm also kind of glad, because ironically, I was in Kansas City at the time, and I'm actually kind of glad I did not go to that show. For one, it was all the way out in Independence. I don't want to travel that far, and I had an extremely early flight to go to. Which also, by the way, Kansas City Airport is officially my least favorite airport ever. It is tiny, cramped, and it's cramped.
I've only been to 2 airports in my life.
Yeah.
St. Louis and Newark.
You're not missing much. I like Midway, mostly because, anytime I fly Southwest, it's always going to Midway, and I like that airport.
But yeah, like I don't understand why this has got to be a thing. So yeah, now it's time to light the fuse and bring the boom. It's time to talk Dynamite. We were there. Had good seats. Um, you know, and we started off Dynamite with a hair versus hair match with Ortiz versus Chris Jericho. This was probably my favorite match of the night.
It was definitely a good opener.
Yeah. This was my favorite match of the night, I believe. It's like I thought, like it built the match built in the right way. You know, you thought that Jericho was going to lose on several occasions. He didn't. But like the ending with how they kind of threw it back to Ortiz, the man of his word, you know, going back to how Jericho didn't shake Eddie's hand when that was the kind of his what he said he would do if he lost to Eddie. You know, and then you know also like the way Ortiz just kind of handled shaving his head. He didn't like act like a you know, he didn't act like the bad guy getting their head shaved where they're like freaking out and crying and you know being over time because that's
Or
not good.
unconscious.
Yeah, because that's not good for how you make your good guy look. It just kind of looked like the whole like, okay, whatever. I'm getting my head shaved. We got blood and guts. Let's go.
I think that was the first time I've seen someone voluntarily just cut their own hair.
It happens quite a bit in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
AAA and Lucha Underground. Well, except take the
AAA,
mask off.
CMLL. I know Minoru Suzuki lost a hair versus hair match and he cut his own hair.
He had hair.
He had hair.
Yeah, he kind of cut like the tuft of hair in the back, but he cuts his hair to look like something from the One Piece anime. So like, you know, that was a shame for all the One Piece fans.
Don't get that reference. Yay me.
I don't watch One Piece either, but I'm not going to tell Minoru Suzuki like what is right or wrong to in his anime tastes.
Anime's hit and miss with me.
About the same, but the ones that are good are damn good.
Yeah.
So yeah. CJ, what'd you think of this match in person?
It was good. I really expected to see a bald Chris Jericho, but that's fine. It did what it needed to do. Everybody was freaking out at Fuego in the building. Only to then somebody was sitting beside me going, "It's Sammy! It's Sammy, everybody! It's Sammy!"
Yeah, I kind of called that one.
They had me fooled. I was like, "Holy shit, Fuego gone rogue!" And I was like,
I had two theories.
Sammy.
I had two theories in that moment. I said it was either Sammy joining up with Jericho because you gotta turn Sammy to the bad side, and having him be part of the Jericho Appreciation Society makes perfect sense. So that's a good call. Or I thought it was gonna be Brian in disguise to screw over Jericho because we hadn't seen Brian in a couple weeks. So, but that being Sammy. And if Brian is back for Blood and Guts, you can do a 6-on-6 Blood and Guts match now.
Yeah. Which, unfortunately, while we're on that subject, let's just say, due to quote-unquote budget cuts, I sadly cannot join AEW Detroit as much hype as I've been hoping to go for it. I sold my ticket. I'm going to make a quick $40 off it. So it sucks, but you know what? I'll still be enjoyable on TV and then just slowly crying on the inside. But hey, you know what? I'm still fingers crossed. It's going to be AEW Toronto. I just know it's, they got to come to Toronto because, we're just one of the most hardcore wrestling fans out there, And
so is St. Louis, but we still, haven't got.
You had a show already. You had Road Rager, okay?
We were supposed to have Hangman Page.
I will take Battle of the Belts in Toronto for God's sake.
I will say, and this is kind of the well. First of all, what did you think of this match on TV? You watched it on TV. How'd it come off?
So it was kind of been like hit and miss because I was just also socializing with Grandma, who obviously will probably not be the biggest wrestling fan out there, but seeing it on TV, the crowd looked pretty good. I mean, it looked nice and all, but yeah, I definitely saw majority of the opening match. And I was nearly hoping, oh my God, we could have Jericho as the Bald Wizard, the Grand Bald Wizard, or whatever. I don't know. Actually, if you call him Grand Wizard, I don't think that would.
Yeah, that wouldn't get over very well.
Yeah, you don't do that.
No. But anyways, when I saw like Fuego, well, the fake Fuego on screen, I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And then I was like, "What? What are you doing? He's gone rogue, not Fuego." And then he takes the mask. I was like, "Oh, it's Sammy." So I was almost like, "Yes, Inner Circle 2.0 has reunited." Ish, kind of. Please, I really still can't get behind Jericho Appreciation Society.
Well,
But
it's not going to be the
anyways.
Inner Circle again. It's going to be the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Anyways,
For over
And-
15 weeks, the revolutionary force in sports, entertainment.
Entertainment.
entertain it. And that is how you make a Canadian accent, by the way. It's entertainment. But anyways,
Sorry,
it makes sense.
me and
Everybody,
my brother Owen.
anyways, it makes sense. You know, everyone just hating on Sammy. So I thought, all right, let's reunite him back with Jericho, and yeah, that worked out for the best. And I just Jericho and Sammy just makes a great team. Like, I'm sorry, like Jericho and Hager is fine and all, but Jericho and Sammy is better.
So, but real quick, here's a tangent, about the great city of St. Louis. This is another proof that if you give us something to care about, we will come. Stan Kroenke said that we're a city that can't hold a football team because we're just not that good enough to say do it. No, you give us something to care about, we'll show up. We all came out in full force for Dynamite, and we all came out in full force for NASCAR. So if AEW wants to put a pay-per-view in St. Louis, we all came out for the Royal Rumble. So if you want to put pay-per-view there, if you want to put All Out or Full Gear there, we're going to show the fuck up. All right. Next match is Wardlow versus 20 security guards in a class action settlement elimination match. I love this match just because it was cool seeing all of the local guys get a match, including one that was on the Geeking Out podcast, Merck. So he was on the he was one of the security guards, and he was there, and so was Raheem De La Suede and ATM and Camaro Jackson, the Quad Father. Dan the Dad was there.
Mike Outlaw.
Honestly, he was there. I was like thinking if he was.
He had a match on Dark Elevation last week too,
and this week, I believe.
No, he didn't have one this week. He was just in that match.
Did he make someone feel very disappointed?
He did.
So when he goes on AEW, he doesn't. They don't book him.
He's Danny Adams. He has the gimmick, but he's not called Dan the Dad. He's just called Danny Adams.
And he's in jobber matches, so he doesn't get a lot of
fair point
shit in.
He did do with 2.0. He did do the stop, like one of his spots is stop. What's that? Like a dad.
What's on your shirt?
What's on your shirt?
Oh man.
So yeah, he's great. But that was cool. Then we find out that Matt Hughes and some other UFC guy, but I know Matt Hughes was sitting front row. And he said, get in there and beat up Wardlow. And my first thought was
all of the arena went
because Matt Hughes was hit by a train and has a terrible brain injury. We're like, please don't make Matt Hughes bump. Please don't do that.
We were all concerned just with him climbing up the steps because he weeble wobbled.
Yeah, he's like it was bad. Like he doesn't have all control of his limbs. He doesn't speak as clearly anymore. It was bad. But it was cool to see Matt Hughes and being a fan of Matt Hughes back when I followed UFC. So yeah, that was kind of neat. And then it was also neat to find out that John Silver was also a fan of Matt Hughes. Took a picture of Matt Hughes.
John Silver,
like the Wardlow match, he should have been.
By the way,
paying people individually, submitting them, not telling them, paying them at the same time on their stomach as they shouldn't. That is true. Yeah, they all should have been on their back. But selfishly, I liked it because I'm like, hey, that's one of our guys. Hey, that's another one of our guys. Hey, that's another one of our guys. That's another one of our guys. There's all of our guys there.
I mean, well, what do you expect for a jobber elimination match? They're obviously not giving me like as accurate. Like even I was thinking, do you really just want to pin them all like a stacked up? Like some of them had their shoulders like already up. It's like I don't know, but
There were some of them that they were announcing being eliminated without like being pinned at all. It's like the first four get eliminated just by being knocked off the rope.
Yeah, it was
I
kind of
mean,
like
I
it's a
really,
cluster. Other than the personal bias of seeing our guys, like it was a clusterfuck.
yeah, and I really just could care less who got eliminated by what. Just
I think that was the general consensus. For me, it was a little like annoying. Like, what? Wait, he didn't pin them. Why did they get eliminated though?
yeah, because it said like what, like plaintiff 1, 2, 3, 4 had been eliminated. It's like, what if it was plaintiff 12 and 16? Huh?
Well, and she counted them off pretty much in order too. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I get that.
it's like, who cares?
I get that.
Next match is Will Ospreay versus Dax Harwood. I actually really like this match, and you want to know why? Because
he
Dax
was in the bathroom.
I went to the bathroom quickly, but I saw the last part of the match. Hey, I had to go find out if there's a Blackpool Combat Club shirt affordable. There was not. But I came back and it was a good match, and you want to know why? Because Dax Harwood made Ospreay slow his fucking roll a little bit. And he wasn't just doing
And also,
shit.
Will Ospreay won.
That, like, I don't like it because I don't like Will Ospreay. But I get the logic of it because, okay, Will Ospreay
lose.
Well, Dax is still more of a tag wrestler, so he's not a singles guy. And then on the flip side, it's like Will Ospreay is still a big deal in New Japan. You gotta have the singles big name in New Japan win. Like my logic isn't fluid like some other people's logic. Oh hey, this guy's style's passe and stupid and has no business in wrestling anymore. But this guy came from New Japan, so it's okay here. Like, I'm not that type of guy. I'm just going to say that, I don't like that wrestler, but, like, it made sense. You had to do it this way. And when Will Ospreay is just going, like, I'm going to do a bunch of high spots, he slows his roll, it's not that bad. This is, like, probably maybe my favorite Will Ospreay match other than the Lance Archer match from the G1 a few years ago. So,
just for you, I'm right now. I'm doing the United Empire salute to you. Just letting you know.
I'll do the Dark Order salute back.
Yeah. Hey, where'd you get a Dairy Queen?
Yeah, I got Dairy Queen.
I got Dairy Queen yesterday, actually.
Got Dairy Queen and water here.
In Toronto, or not Toronto, in Cleveland. Oh, I wish I could be back in Toronto, which I will be actually in a month from now.
But then we have the United Empire coming out, and then Chaos and Orange Cassidy come back, setting up Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. Now Will Ospreay's really gonna have to slow down.
This match I'm excited for. It's like, oh shit, this is like Pac Cassidy vibes here. It's like anything can honestly happen with this match.
Yeah. I enjoyed it too.
Please don't fail us.
I don't know how it came across on TV, but when that music hit for Orange Cassidy to come out, everybody jumped up and screamed. Mm-hmm. That was probably one of the louder pops that night.
Yeah, he's been out with injury.
Was it like a shoulder or an elbow injury?
I can't remember.
It was an arm of some sort.
Okay. Yeah, this was the part of Dynamite when sadly I just didn't watch it because Grandma wanted to watch I Love Lucy, which again I don't mind. It's a good show.
Next was the confrontation between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jon Moxley, and this is where I'm going to criticize AEW a little bit, because they have given. This is the epitome of AEW going, everybody lives in a bubble. everybody knows all these New Japan guys because, like, why not? Like, you guys are big wrestling fans. You should know who the New Japan guys are. And I love Hiroshi Tanahashi, but not everybody knows who Hiroshi Tanahashi is. And they haven't explained why he's held in, such a high esteem, how he saved New Japan Pro Wrestling from essentially going out of business. All these different things, that could make you go like, okay, this is why he's such a big deal. They haven't explained. In St. Louis, a good wrestling town is not a good New Japan town. So,
if this was somewhere like Chicago
yes.
or New York, they would have huge acknowledgement. Hell, even LA.
But AEW's got to do their job too in saying like, hey, who is this guy and why should we care? Who is this character? Who is this man with the flowing hair that has the rock music, and why is he such a big deal?
Did they play like a promo video about Tanahashi, or they just played the assumption part?
No, wow. They just said y'all should know who that is, and he got like no reaction to coming out. None of the New Japan guys, not even Ospreay. Ospreay got like a small reaction, but Dax's was bigger. I know Tanahashi's not gonna get a bigger reaction than Moxley, but like
if there was a Okada, everyone would lose their freaking heads.
Maybe.
I mean, I think, personally, a great wrestler also has great
bringing
music.
in New Japan guys for the indies in this area is good because, the big wrestling fan that knows New Japan goes to independent wrestling shows. So that's fine. That always draws a good crowd for the indie show, but this is a national TV show. You've got to do more. And this is another place where AEW has failed, and failed drastically.
Mm-hmm.
Good point about the Dax flying and that costing him. That's absolutely true. This was just kind of, this segment wasn't very good. Moxley was good, but nothing else was good. Jericho coming out and hijacking it. It just felt like a clusterfuck. It felt like, they got to hurry up. They got to hurry up and get build the matches up because they haven't done a good job building up the matches. And I get that they lost some talent, but come on now. But we are going to get a 6-man with Jericho teaming with Suzuki Gun against, who else is it going to be? Yeah, it's Suzuki, Guevara, and Jericho versus Yuta, Umino, and Eddie Kingston. So that's a good 6-man for Forbidden Door, and maybe possibly setting up Suzuki and Jericho for Wrestle Kingdom, which is a match I do really want to see, but still, Not well done by AEW. Next match is Ethan Page versus Miro in the All-Atlantic Championship Tournament. This was a good match. Miro might have just turned himself to the good side in this match because he got a huge reaction. Huge. St. Louis loves Miro.
Were there any Miro Day chants or no?
I tried to start one, but it didn't work.
Damn it. I probably would have. Yeah.
Next we have, what did everybody else think of this match?
I wasn't there. Sorry.
No, this was a fine little match. It went longer than I expected it to, which is fine.
Next up, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Toni Storm. I really like this match. Bad weekend for Britt Baker. Her Pirates lost twice in one day while she was there, and she lost on Dynamite, so she might hate St. Louis now.
Although she did get a huge bump because she convinced the entire world that Toni Storm legit hurt her with her ass.
Yeah. So,
Well,
So
you
there's
can go complain about it to the Ass Boys.
Next up is Hangman Page. He probably got, other than Moxley, the biggest reaction of the night. So there you go, AEW.
for Dynamite, yes.
And then I fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
Yeah,
Why?
I fell asleep in the. I don't know what happened next. I fell asleep. Some guy.
Okay, well, that's why we have another one. CJ, tell us what happens.
Oh, I was too busy elbowing the asshole that fell asleep on me.
Yeah. Just fell asleep, like, I don't know, I just dozed off. I do want to say this about AEW. So they promoted this match with Okada, and okay, Okada had to lose the belt because his wife is apparently getting ready to give birth or just had a baby or something. So, like, that had to happen, and whether or not I agree with who they put it on or not, that's irrelevant. It had to happen. Okay, whatever. But you basically teased Okada for a New Japan AEW crossover show. You teased Okada, and for all intents and purposes, unless he takes a break from being a dad to a newborn, he's not gonna be there? What the fuck, everybody?
Yeah, this is where I'm gonna just unleash the "you fucked up" chance. It's like,
and then
don't promote somebody that you think is gonna be there, but in the end, he's not gonna be there.
Yeah, like I understand that they gave themselves an out with, like, oh well, somebody else might be the champion by them, derm. But the other thing is kind of like, when I fell asleep, I heard somebody just vaguely saying before I dozed back off that they're going to decide who gets the IWGP Championship match, and I'm just like, since I've woken from my slumber, who is there to challenge for that title now? That from any company that's not tied up in something. You can't pick Moxley.
And a lot of people are speculating Omega, but it's like, he's still injured. We don't know when he's going to come back. Omega.
If he's making the John Cena "I'm fine now" recovery match, then good for him. But I don't know about that. I don't think it's him. I think
I did like how I'm just going to acknowledge his name, that Jay White, who I actually thought he probably had the biggest New Japan reaction, because when the music hit, everyone freaked out. But anyways, I did like that he said that Adam Cole's not going to challenge for the belt either, and you just see Cole getting confused. I was like, wait, what? I thought we had something. It's like, brother, did you not learn anything from getting screwed over by Omega? But anyways, yeah, I don't know who would be left at this point. Especially not CM Punk, because he's injured.
I mean, they could do a triple threat, but like, why? And especially because, like, New Japan's really not a fan of putting the IWGP title in a triple threat. So again, I feel like they've really put themselves, both Cole and Hangman. If we hype it up, then yeah, we are. AEW has, like, really, and this is why, like I said, I'm not. You got to be careful with these. Oh, we're gonna have a big crossover show. It's like, the politics and everything that goes into something like this is setting people up for disappointment. So, yeah, I don't know. I hate to say it, I don't care. Like, other than Hangman Page, I don't care. I don't care about, all joking aside, I don't care about Jay White, and as much as this pains me to say, because he's such a nice guy, I don't care about Adam Cole. I do not care about any of this.
Did we elaborate that Bryan Danielson, he's part of that tag match, right?
No, he may not even make Forbidden Door. He might still be hurt, and they might be just really saving him for Blood and Guts. If he even makes that.
I was going to say, like, I think Bryan Danielson, he could be a good opponent for Jay White.
Yeah, but I
both
wouldn't
guys
want.
are great technical wrestlers.
Yeah, somebody's gonna lose. So either Bryan Danielson's gonna have to be IWGP champion, or one of AEW's biggest stars is gonna have to lose on a big pay-per-view. Now Bryan would be the type of guy that wouldn't have a problem losing to somebody like Jay, but
I don't think that they put the title on the line here. Like, period. I think that you end up getting these three and somebody else in a tag match.
Who would be the other person for Hangman to tag with, though? Like,
I don't know.
Like assuming Okada's out of the equation, which for all intents and purposes it seems like he is. So it's like maybe Ishii, maybe Goto. Like, you pull from the New Japan ranks. Like Naito's out, and Naito.
Is Kota available or? Oh wait.
Yeah, there's kind of that whole.
Yeah.
Never mind. Completely forgot.
And then, but also, like I said, Naito's not available, and then on top of that, none of the LIJ guys would team with somebody who's not an LIJ. Like, they would be like, yeah, no, you're not, no. Like, that's their characters. Like, so there goes Shingo. There goes, I said, there goes all of LIJ. Tanahashi's spoken for. Liger's retired, so,
through, did they?
No. They did not. They did not think this through. This has been like. This is
kind of like the Raw 2 weeks before a pay-per-view when Vince realizes that, fuck, I got to put on a premium live event. Let's throw a card together.
Yeah, this is what happens. They make an announcement that was like, what? Like, they made this 3 months ago. Like, I would have probably set this show up in December or something. Make this like a prelude show to Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, the problem with the prelude to Wrestle Kingdom is you got a lot of people that are probably going to want to take it easy and not be traveling before the big Tokyo Dome show. Like, they take a long break for Wrestle.
What about a month before?
They take a long ass break, other than World Tag League. They take a break, and a lot of the big stars take a break or do World Tag League because it's easy on them to save themselves for the Dome.
Yeah, see, I don't know how the New Japan politics works, so if that's what they do, okay, cool, I respect that.
And they can't do this at All Out, set all up for All Out, because you're right hot off the heels of the G1, and
I was gonna say that's going on still, isn't it?
It hasn't started yet.
It'll start
right after. Yeah. So, again, they've put themselves in a corner, and I will say, in defense of AEW, this is probably the one show where it's just the people that are going to the show are the people that are going to be like, I just want to see good wrestling. I want to see a New Japan AEW crossover.
People were hoping Punk was gonna fight too.
Yeah, I understand. There's a lot of things that have come up that have not been good, but still, it's just I get that people are gonna go to it that are big wrestling fans that know this stuff, but still, you gotta get a buy rate somehow.
I'm gonna watch it, but I know again, the buy rate is probably. I'm not gonna be surprised if it's low.
Oh, no. So now we get to the main event. Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks in a AEW World Tag Team Championship ladder match. With the whole Jeff Hardy situation going on, I already felt empty going into this match because probably the one thing that had me invested in it, seeing the Hardy Boys kind of get that last bit, rightfully so, is not part of it anymore. So just purely from a fan perspective, that happening along with, taking that out, I'm just kind of I don't care. And then I didn't like the match. I know I'm supposed to, but I didn't. I kind of thought it sucked. It is it got a reaction. I'm in the minority not liking it. I'll concede that. But this was the epitome of not my style of match. at all.
Hmm.
Just did not care. I did not care. I do not care about the Young Bucks anymore. There's one thing left that I care about with the Young Bucks, and it's when Kenny comes back, having that program with the Undisputed Elite, kind of having that big blow off that we were all thinking about in 2018, 2019. But yeah, just I don't care. I don't care about the Young Bucks, and I did put out there on Twitter. I kind of said, hey, remember how in kind of a dire situation, another EVP won a belt, and they said that was the wrong call, and EVP shouldn't be putting multiple belts on themselves. But Pepperidge Farm remembers, and so do I. And do those morals still count when it's the Young Bucks putting belts back on themselves? I'm just curious. I'm just curious where the morality of being a wrestling fan is. Like, is it's still not okay? Is it still not okay? With now that we've established these principles, help me out.
I mean, for me, personally, I obviously, the match wasn't, wow dazzling like it has been in the past, but I think it was just really just bad timing with what happened to Jeff, which, by the way, if you need any sort of help or assistance, seek it. There is something out there, and don't judge people from what they go through. We know Hardy has a really horrible history with substance abuse, and I'm not mad at him about it. We all go through our own crap. So, again,
I'm not mad. My last word on this, because this is someone's private life, and I don't care. But this is the only thing I'm going to say about this. I'm not going to judge Jeff Hardy for having demons and needing to seek help. But he did put a lot of people in danger, and nobody would have any empathy if it was the three of us. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying that he doesn't need to go get help, and we need to take that seriously. But if we put that many people's lives in danger behind the wheel of a car, nobody would be crying us any tears and saying, "Oh, this poor guy." They'd be going, "Hey, you three assholes! You almost killed somebody. Fuck you." And that's the final word that I want said on this broadcast about it.
Yeah, but it was back for the match.
Should have had FTR in the ladder match too. I would have been okay with Red Dragon in there. I wanted them to be a third team that kind of could have done it. I understand there was
even maybe the Lucha Brothers could have made an impact. We've had some badass.
That's some. I mean, on a personal level, I'm okay with that, but from the principal standpoint, I don't like the Lucha Bros that much, so that wouldn't have done anything for me personally. Red Dragon's never held the belts before, so.
How about Dark Order? I mean, they're still around. They could have been an incredible walk-in replacement for Silver and Reynolds.
Well, we have a ranking system that's supposed to matter.
Hobbs and
Starks. Ranking system.
But that was what this whole company's thing. We have a ranking system, and it's supposed to matter.
Then maybe Bryan Daniels, Bryan and Moxley should have been in this match.
FTR has been the number one contenders for 2 months.
Well, they're also the Ring of Honor tag champs.
Yeah. There you go. All the more reason.
So don't make them the number one contender, because you have control over the fucking results.
This isn't the fucking NCAA where you gotta go, oh shit. Oh shit. Podunk Little School is number one. It's undefeated. What the fuck do we do?
Don't sit there and bitch. Well, I already put two. I already have the belt.
Oh my God, George Mason's in the Final Four. This shouldn't be happening. We wanted Duke. What the fuck? You can't. This isn't how that works. You can control with this.
If you don't have time to sit down and put the entire puzzle together, don't just mash the pieces in and glue them to the back and tell me that you did the whole fucking puzzle when I can see the horse and the ass are connected.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You control the results of this. You control the ranking system. You threw it down our throats for 3 years. The rankings fucking matter. You control all the results. You have the book. You're the guy, and you've made it abundantly clear that you're the fucking guy. So sit down and put the fucking puzzle together. And if you're too goddamn busy to sit there and actually do the puzzle correctly, then put somebody else in charge of the fucking puzzle.
And if the people that you put in charge of the puzzle put themselves on top, then we need to just shut the fuck up about it and not act like when someone else does it that you just don't like, that it's a problem. I have no problem with I'm gonna say this. I have no problem with the principle of the Young Bucks being the tag team champions again. Hey, they were in a hard spot. They didn't expect Jeff Hardy to get arrested. You know, all these different things are happening and they didn't expect it. That's fine. I get it. It's a safe option. It's a safe option. They're AEW through and through. They're people may not necessarily like me, but a lot of people care about them. I get it. My problem is so many people are all like, oh, this one's fine. It's like, oh, hey, you know how 6 months ago you weren't fine with Cody Rhodes winning a title. 2 years ago you weren't fine with Cody Rhodes winning a title again. That was all abuse of power and shouldn't be happening. And, why not Sonny Kiss? Why not Joey Janela? Why not Lance Archer? Why not, here's a list of the whole roster. Why not these guys? Fucking just say that you just, it's, fucking don't try and get a moral high ground about shit. Don't try and act like, this somehow jeopardizes morality by having Wrestler A do something that has some stroke, but, and that's wrong and that's terrible. But then when wrestlers B and C do it, oh, that's cool. That one's okay. That one's okay.
I don't have a problem with the Young Bucks winning because they obviously had a plan for Jungle Boy and Christian to happen here. I think it didn't happen quite like it was supposed to because of the Jeff Hardy thing. I think that Matt and Jeff are supposed to win the tag team titles.
I think so too.
I think 100% that was supposed to be the outcome. So I get why that happened.
I'm okay with the logic.
I would have slipped
don't care.
FTR in there and just went ahead and put the belts back on.
Exactly. Miss Ace even said it. Have Ospreay and Trent wrestle. And then have FTR in the ladder match and then be like, okay. Because it seems like they're wanting to build to FTR having all the belts. Okay. So they win this belt here. Maybe they win
instead of later.
Instead of doing it later, you still got that rubber match with FTR and the Young Bucks for All Out. And honestly, at this point with All Out, with all these big stars on the shelf, if you do FTR and the Bucks at All Out, that should be the main event.
Nope.
Really? What are you saying should be the main event?
The main event should always be your AEW World title.
See, I think that they said from the inception that the tag titles can be a main event. Make the tag titles a main event. Especially because there's nobody main event worthy to challenge Mox right now that would be able to conceivably make sense other than Bryan and Jericho.
We got months, though. We've got several months.
We got 2.
Make a contender. You have plenty of people on that. You have more than plenty of people on that roster. And you have more than enough talent that is capable of getting themselves to that point.
Other than Jericho and Bryan, nobody's there. And they're probably not going to go Bryan because Blackpool Combat Club and Jericho,
guess what?
Maybe.
Daniel Bryan can't fly right now. So that's not an option. And guess what? That leaves you with more TV time because you can't really feature Daniel Bryan or CM Punk, who were every week features on the show. Two birds with one stone.
This whole situation is also a testament to how AEW, much as there's about umpty million videos about what a brilliant writers they are, they haven't built up their roster. It was the CM. It's been the CM Punk show, and now that CM Punk's not there, they're like, "What the fuck do we do?"
But that's the point. You can come in and say, look, I'm not a one-trick pony. It's not all about there's redemption in this for Tony Khan. There's a redeemable moment here for him as a promoter right now to sit there and go, okay, plan A didn't work. Plan B isn't going to work. Let me sit back, look at the box, and put the puzzle back together. I got to figure this out. He's got plenty of TV time. He has 3 hours a week on national television and spots to fill and a huge roster to do it with. You've got Miro. Miro can easily.
Yeah, you know what? Probably one of the stars that could have been ready had he not like put them in a fucking going nowhere tag team and relegated. I mean, I love seeing the besties in the world wrestling. Put him in a fucking match on Dark Elevation. Yeah, Keith Lee was on Dark Elevation. He wasn't on Dynamite. Wasn't on Rampage. His match was on Dark Elevation.
And
this is the brilliant booking.
There's plenty of guys to go to. There's plenty of guys that could be believable world title contenders in 2 months. There's plenty on that roster. With the right booking and the proper time, they could give Moxley a 2-year run easily with the right booking and the proper amount of time dedicated on TV. They have plenty of guys.
Yeah.
That is not the problem here.
And something else, it's just like, we already know it's going to be Jon Moxley. Like that's kind of like, to me, like, I get that, you're not supposed to just swerve for the sake of swerves. This isn't a Vince Russo project here. Like, I thought, like, having Christian turn on Jungle Boy, like, now, like, the way they did that was good. It was executed well. Christian's great in that role. The problem was, it's just like, okay, I knew this was going to happen. Like there was nothing. The wind was out of sails. I'm just like, okay, like, they're going to lose and Christian's going to turn. And that was a good, well-told story. Like, with, all the stuff with Christian and Jungle Boy, like, that's good. No complaints there. But the problem is now, like, AEW's in such a spot, they're really in, like, this box of predictability. And, like, we already are saying, well, what's going to happen when Mox wins the title? Which, that's fine. It's a safe option. It's the safest option. You gotta go with the safest option. There's no. I'm not complaining about what AEW has to do to get, now that we're in this unfortunate situation where their top guy is hurt, and all the plans they had for that top guy in the world title going forward are, out the window for right now. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I hope the fan base understands why WWE goes to Brock Lesnar so much now. Or why they've stuck with Roman Reigns. Why they haven't just said, fuck it, put the belt on this guy. Like, you gotta. Sometimes, like, when you're in a bad spot, you just gotta go with something that works, and the person that is gonna deliver what your audience wants. Maybe not what the other audience wants, but what your audience wants. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns deliver what the WWE audience wants at least 80% of the time. And Jon Moxley delivers on what the AEW audience wants 99% of the time. That's why you gotta do those things. That's why when the internet gets butthurt that we have Brock Lesnar in a main event against, like, that's the safest option. All these guys are hurt. You gotta go with a safe option. That's where we're supposed to get Keith Lee and Swerve. Small Dark Elevation spoiler. They tease tension during the match. And that's about all of the, like, issue. So you've relegated Keith Lee, the big signing of, holy shit, the heaven, the gates of heaven are open, and here comes Keith Lee, who's finally going to be used to his potential, and all these different things, and he's come in, he's doing this. I get that maybe when they brought in Keith Lee, they had so many other storylines going on that maybe he wasn't going to be the guy right away. But now do you understand why maybe he wasn't the guy in WWE right away? Did WWE fuck up Keith Lee? Of course they did. But I can't say that AEW's done anything a whole hell of a lot better with Keith Lee. Like get out of the bubble. Look at it with a critical eye and go like, is this spot really better? It is backing up somebody. Is playing special teams and being the second string guy that gets just rotated in on certain packages any better because you're playing for the fucking because you're playing for the Chiefs? Is that any better than having the same role playing for the Buccaneers? Like, is it? Not really. But now you're with the Chiefs, so it's all great, I guess. That's kind of how people are looking at it. But
sorry if I'm being like quiet, because it's like honestly, you guys are just hitting the nail round confident. It's like I'm just starting to really question, what exactly are AEW's plans on booking, especially. It's like, I am now at probably late at the stage, but I am a little worried, when we have debuts or signings. So it's like, okay, so what are we going to do with them?
Yeah, I know. So, and it's like, everybody's all like, God, I really hope Johnny Gargano comes to AEW. It's like, why?
No.
Why do you want Johnny Gargano in AEW? What is he going to do? Like, I get you could probably hotshot him into one of these spots, but it's like, Keith Lee needs a spot, Will Hobbs needs a spot, Ricky Starks needs a spot, Samoa Joe needs a spot.
Let's totally make it a great idea to create the All-Atlantic Championship. Like, yeah, sure.
Another title that doesn't have to be featured on TV.
No.
And then like, oh, well, he's going to restart ROH soon. Maybe he could be part of that. You think Johnny Gargano really wants to be part of Ring of Honor? You think all of these guys, you think Cesaro, maybe Cesaro because he cut his teeth there, but do you really think that Claudio Castagnoli wants to leave WWE and go be ROH TV champion? It's an inflated bubble right now, and the burst is going to happen. And I called this a year ago in the old house, but everybody was all like, "Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about. You just all these people are leaving, all these guys are leaving and going to the promised land." And it's like, well, I don't see it as this land of milk and honey right now. I see it as kind of the land of, like, hey, you're not eating shit, but you're it's the land of manna. They're not feeding you shit or starving you out, but you're not getting these treasures these treasures that are supposed to, like, this is the promised land. It's not. I'm failing to see it. If they're happy, great. There's people happy in other places that apparently they're not supposed to be happy in.
I feel like if Forbidden Door just turns into like another like failure, kind of like Revolution did with the barbed wire match, or the barbed wire explosion match, like I feel like I would call that as AEW's bubble burst.
I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if Forbidden Door will be
or just like the downfall.
I don't even think it's going to be a downfall. I just think it's kind of one of those. It's like, okay, you're you're gonna have to look at where you're coming up short and not just listen to. All right, we don't really talk. We try not to talk ratings on the show or viewership, but AEW fell to like around 700,000 viewers. You're gonna have to stop.
688,000.
688,000. Okay. So you're gonna have to stop going. Oh, hey, 400,000 think this is amazing, or 300,000 think this is amazing. So let's fucking go. No, you're gonna have to go like, okay, that 300,000 is great, and that 300,000 will spend money, and that 300,000 can keep you afloat somewhat. But you just can't keep. You gotta get out of this fucking bubble. And you gotta quit only listening to people that kiss your ass.
I will point, a lot of people are like hounding them about the ratings. This is not like an all-time new low.
No,
they had lower ratings last year around this time in the summer, and they weren't competing with like playoff hockey.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
It's not a panic button thing, but it is one of those. It's like, again, kind of bringing back the football reference. It's like, hey, you still won by 3 touchdowns against a team that you were head and shoulders better than, but it's like, oh, hey, but you had bad rushing against a bad rush defense. You got to tighten that up. Hey, your quarterback threw 2 interceptions against a bad pass defense. Yeah, you won, and you won comfortably, and you're not in any danger of like not making the playoffs. But you're gonna have to tighten this shit up, or else when you're really in a tough spot, or when shit's really getting real down the road, you might have that collapse. Bring it up. It's funny because this is the Jaguars that we're talking about. Like, I remember back in 2009, the Colts beat the Jaguars by like 3 touchdowns, and I remember watching the game going like, they're gonna have to tighten shit up. And I remember people going with me going like, why? They won, but they won by 21 points. It's fine. It's like, yeah, but the Jaguars running back ran for 200 yards against them. When they get to the playoffs, they're going to be playing the Patriots, and if they play in the Super Bowl, they're going to have to be playing the Vikings or the Saints, and they're going to exploit that. And lo and behold, it happened. Like that's where AEW is. Don't panic. You've got a good team, but you got to fix some shit. And it's not gonna take a new belt or a new debut. It's gonna have to take like some sitting down and going, let's find spots for people. Let's find storylines. Long-term storytelling. You did it just fine with Christian. Let's find something long. Like where are these people fitting in long-term? If something happens, who can step up and be put in that long-term position? I give CJ shit about Ricky Starks. Why isn't Ricky Starks in a match yet?
Yeah.
Why isn't Ricky Starks in a match for you been featuring him? Why isn't he in a match yet? Why isn't Samoa Joe in anything yet? Big deal, Samoa Joe, Promised Land, Ring of Honor, all where's Samoa Joe? Why isn't Samoa Joe in a full gear match?
I'm pretty sure Joe's not injured. Like, I could honestly love a non-title championship between him and Jay White.
That'd be great. I'd be fine with that. Like, that is a good match
that we've never seen before. I wanted to say it earlier, but I didn't know whether Joe was injured again.
Or don't even make it. You can go ahead and make it a title match. Like, Samoa Joe can lay down. Like, he's not the top guy yet. Like, Joe can lose this one. That's fine.
Would you make it a winner-take-all match or just for the IWGP? Okay, making sure.
Because from a kayfabe perspective, why would... I'm not knocking the title, but like, why would the IWGP champion want to hold an ROH belt and then just kind of have to worry about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they got to figure out something next week because that's going to be your go home show. And if it's not hyped up, there's going
We're
to be.
still lining up a whole fucking card next week. They still got to announce matches. Like, that's the dumbest part of this. On your go home show, you're going to be announcing I get it doesn't matter because you sold it out already. It doesn't matter, but you haven't announced the full card.
Yeah.
You can't be pulling it all in by saying, "Hey, here's a pay-per-view." No, we don't have matches.
We had some great fans behind us, and I remember just kind of like saying, it's like, that I said this during our state of the company. It's like, okay, you can't just be relying on the fact that Revolution, fight the power anymore. Like, okay, you're there. You're in the mix.
Didn't you also say that they've kind of become the power?
They've kind of like they're a player now. It's like back in the good old days, like the Salukis went on a stretch of always winning the Missouri Valley Conference and always like at least making it to the Sweet 16 in the tournament. And it was no like we're still happy to be in the tournament, but like we kind of eventually, like, the fan base and, and all of us are kind of like, okay, we're in the tournament. Cool. That's always great, because there's a lot of big teams in the tournament too. We're glad to be in the mix. So we never forgot that. But on the flip side, it also was like, hey, let's win some games in the tournament now. Let's okay, we've made the Sweet 16. Let's get to that Elite 8 point. Let's beat Kansas. Let's beat Kentucky and Duke when we get there. Let's not just be like, oh, but we're here, and that's victory for us. It's like, no, we're past that. The revolution of here are the people here to see it. Isn't this great? And rah rah, shish boom ba. We sold out the building, and we got the demo. Like, okay, you go. Like, let's make it better. Let's go. Let's think some shit out and not just go, well, but we're here and we did it. And Dave Meltzer likes it. And Twitter likes it. You're in the mix now. Now try and figure out a way to quit just saying like, well, we're in the mix. Let's just be happy. Oh, we got it. Be happy. Oh, we signed CM Punk. Be happy. Oh, we got Bryan Danielson. Be happy. Now do something with them. Get over that hump. Get to the Final Four. That's the state of that's the issue. Is I feel like they want to talk about like, look at all the great things we're doing, but it's like you still haven't gotten over this hump. And you have all the tools to get over it, and you squander them.
I'm just like now realizing, it's like if we're gonna put into football perspective, the Buffalo Bills of the 1990s were probably the most dominating team you would ever face. There was just one key problem: you made it to 4 straight Super Bowls, you lost all of them.
Yeah.
If you want to be proud about your history and legacy about that, sure, that's one thing, but you didn't win shit. I'm going to be honest right there. Like, you want to actually prove something here? Go and actually get yourself a championship here. That's right. AEW, like, continue growing the audience, figure out what they want, and don't heavily rely on people, giving you Twitter ideas and worrying about the fucking bots. It's like, no, nobody cares about what they're doing. Care about what your product. It's like with Coca-Cola, if they're so worried about what Pepsi is doing, you're really only going to be worried about Pepsi growing bigger than you.
And it's like, just
that's right.
Okay, hey, you want to do a Forbidden Door show for your hardcore fan base that kind of help that that's you throwing the bone back to like, hey, this is a show for you guys that help us get here. Okay, that's great. Now come up with a reason to make everybody else care. Tell us who Tanahashi is. Make coherent stories. Don't just throw something together in a month and go like, oh, well, but these guys will love it. Okay. Make that guy who
Also,
doesn't know what New
maybe-
Japan is love it. Make that girl who doesn't know who Hiroshi Tanahashi is, and explain like why he's so fucking great.
And you know
It's
what
not
was interesting?
difficult.
Also, take some notes from what G1 Supercard did. When like walking into
That's
this, I
not.
had no
That is
idea
not a way.
wait,
That is not the way to go about making
okay,
this
but
work.
wait. Here's what they did. You know, they did do some intro videos about who these wrestlers are. You know, as most wrestling companies do. But in this case, you know, it gave us a perspective and idea about who each of these guys are, like Naito, like Koda. Hell, even the history about the IWGP Championship. You know, everyone who's ever won it. And then a great little boo to when they showed Brock Lesnar on screen. But just show us, you know, why this could be awesome. Give us a spotlight about these New Japan guys. This is something that they should have honestly done since honestly the start of June. We're at the what is it? Yeah, we're like June 16th now. We're already halfway through the month here. And if I was like just a casual wrestling fan, I probably would just be back, you know, wondering what the hell is New Japan and why should I care about that?
Yeah, exactly.
I know New Japan is, but still, you get my idea.
Yeah, you know, just
like this is why it was.
But taking 5 minutes to explain
right after Double or Nothing, like literally a month after the Vegas show.
You know, I get that there's probably some New Japan influence there. You are working with multiple companies, and you got to play ball. But like, you know,
but the problem
who is Suzuki Gun? Who is Suzuki Gun?
US.
There was a guy in a mask there that I knew who he was, but I'm pretty sure that 90% of that audience didn't know who El Desperado was. Just get out of your bubble. Get out of the fucking bubble. But speaking of things out of the bubble, Vince McMahon.
Oh boy.
Honestly, like, just so apparently something is being investigated with him having an affair and using company money to hush the person he had an affair with. I don't care. I really don't. I'm going to defer to CJ. Were any like laws broken with this, or is this just kind of a naughty Vincey?
Well, he's not being investigated by the SEC. He's being investigated by the board of directors. Where do I start with this? The tricky part about this is apparently this came out. There's two ways that people are kind of talking about the way this came out. One is that the now non-employee, the former employee, that this is all kind of about, her friend emailed the board of directors and had all these allegations against Vince and John Laurinaitis, and that she was passed around and all kinds of other stuff. Even though the initial relationship and I guess the accompanying relationship was still mutual, that she was in fear for her life, and that's why she quit, and she signed the NDA, so she can't talk about it. Also got the $3 million. That's the piece that's being investigated, is that it came from the company coffers, not from Vince's own pocket. This employee was also given like a freaking 100% raise after the relationship started, even though in the company policies it says that you can't do a quid pro quo, which means a higher salary for sexual favors, which would be exactly what that is. And then she was having a sexual relationship. Do what?
I think that's what they're also looking at, is elaborating on whether that's the case.
You can still, so a lot of companies have that, and you still have people that are in relationships with managers of the the company I work for has several married couples. Some are in management positions. You can't be in a relationship with someone who directly supervises you. That would have been a problem when she was John Laurinaitis' assistant. That would have been the only time that was an actual problem. She didn't ever report directly to Vince. So it wouldn't necessarily.
That's conflict of interest.
It's not a conflict of interest if it's disclosed to the board and HR, which it may or may not have been. But at the time she was hired, that policy wasn't in place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of tricky there. The big piece is the fact that when she quit and that policy was in place, she had to file an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Apparently there are several, and the $3 million of hush money, what they call it. That all depends on what it really was and what it was paid for. There are ways to get around that if it's tricky. It can be considered hush money and not actually be hush money. An NDA is pretty normal shit for a guy like Vince and people leaving the company. That just is what it is. So he's not in big trouble. We're not going to see like the steroid trial in 5 months. I don't think. I still can't believe that nobody knew that Vince was having affairs. That was like, wait, you guys didn't know? Nobody else knew?
That's another thing. Like, it shouldn't be normalized that he's having, like, extramarital affairs. And then especially that him and Linda are not living together. They're just business relationship. Like, okay, when you get married, you have a sacred vow you got to keep with for life. And if things, unfortunately, they don't work out as much, I'm not saying immediately do this, but there is nothing wrong. If you need to get a divorce, that's fine. It's a little saddening, it affects the family, but it gets to the point where I just don't want, people to get hurt like this. Even if it is Vince McMahon, you still shouldn't live yourself with a burden that you have to be with Linda McMahon or vice versa. And then also, thanks to the scandal, it's now opened up with all the other crap that Vince has done, whether it's the steroids or covering up a murder, or whether there was good handlings on when certain superstars had concussion protocols and all that stuff. I'm not saying this is the immediate downfall of Vince, but it's like this can lead to something here if people are now discovering how he is as a real person. Oh, and of course, there's also that thing called the XFL.
That was great.
I mean, the XFL was probably one of his better ideas. Teach their own. If you want to be politically married to a person that you don't love, cool. If 2 consenting adults want to be in that relationship, cool. If 4 consenting adults want to be in that relationship, cool. That's their personal business. I study history. That's my other big nerdy thing. Political marriages all throughout history. It's ridiculous. You want to talk about it? John F. Kennedy and Jackie Onassis. Bing, bang, boom. Same time period, roughly, for Linda and Vince.
Maybe even Bill and Hillary.
I was gonna say, and even the Clintons there.
The Clintons. This kind of shit happens with people with money.
Miss Liz and Buck Strickland.
Like that's just a thing. To each their own. That wasn't my choice. Those people may not have, the same view on my relationships as I have on theirs. It's cool. That's their personal business. Whatever. As long as everybody's mutually agreeing to it, whatevs.
Now just kind of hit me. So if we immediately went into the cancel culture side about what happened to the Fabulous Moolah, how the hell are we still normalizing with what the hell Vince is doing? Moolah, has abused and used her wrestlers that she did, especially with what Dark Side of the Ring showed. So how the hell are we okay with what Vince is doing? Okay, he's got money. Okay, big freaking deal.
Well, what the different one,
we don't know,
because to my knowledge, this affair and everything, Vince is having extramarital affairs consensually.
He's not raping, or he's not. At least as of
not
now.
taking advantage.
Now,
Are these women consenting to these affairs because they know that they can get a bigger raise or a promotion or more clout in it? Yes. But is a mutually beneficial agreement because he's getting the sexual activity he wants, they are getting the money, the prestige, the whatever else they want. In the Moolah situation, she's getting all the money and the prestige and everything that she wanted, and she's treating women like dirt who didn't know any better, and they aren't really getting anything other than abuse. And like it wasn't a mutually beneficial agreement, and then when those women found out that they're not going to be getting anything for their efforts and tried to leave, they were forced into staying. And by all accounts, I mean, if the first part is right, and you know, there was an email that went out and she was afraid and that's why she quit. Cool, but she still quit. and she got paid money to just keep it all on the DL. Like, she agreed to that. She didn't have to sign the NDA. She didn't have to take the money. She didn't have to leave. She did. She seems to be fine. Like, it's a difference. Does Vince have his demons and issues with like personifying women? Absolutely, 100%. Do all of these women have a choice? Absolutely, 100%. Sasha and Naomi just showed everybody that, did they not? They didn't agree with him, so they left.
Now, if more news comes out that it wasn't consensual, then we got a problem. But right now, as it stands on what's reported, because I'm not gonna create a headcanon for what actually happened, because I'm not the biggest fan of Vince McMahon or the WWE. But as the facts, the reported facts and what's been facts, it seemed to be a consensual relationship. Is it immoral to cheat on your wife and do this from a lot of people's perspectives? Sure. But there's no, like, as of now, it wasn't like it wasn't like the storylines where he's like, have sex with me or you're fired. At least nothing has come to light on that yet. Or
the little interesting tidbit that I picked up is the other way that some people have said that this came out is that the books were being gone through by a potential buyer of WWE and discovered the cash flow. So that's an interesting little tidbit, because if they're in a discovery phase of a buyout, that's pretty deep into the game. And also, this all started in March. So all of this has been being investigated for the past 2.5 months. So maybe we'll find out more, but I think that it's probably, this is what it is. If he gets investigated by the SEC, then maybe he'll be in some hot water. As it is, I think John Laurinaitis resigns. Maybe
Laurinaitis resigns. It's definitely because of this.
He gets future endeavored. Vince remains the head of creative. Vince remains the controlling shareholder. You can't take that away from him. He probably remains chairman of the board because he has the controlling shares. So what are you going to do? You can't buy him out. Every one of his stock is worth 10 voting shares to every one of everyone else's. Stephanie and Linda each have that, with him having the majority. What are you going to do? It's his company.
Yeah, there's no... It's not a good look, and it's not good press. But this doesn't even feel like the the bin watch, situation the company went through.
God, no.
Or I wasn't really following, at least to that extent back at the time, the steroid scandal and the steroid trials. So, yep.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. Like he's not. He's his own board is investigating now. There is a law firm that's picked up. If you own shares of WWE stock now or at the time that this was going on, I believe you can contact this law firm. They're going for a class action lawsuit. Once the findings are discovered, because spending that much of the company's money negatively reflects on the finances. So the stockholders, the proper term is that upper management didn't do their fiduciary duties to the board of directors and the stockholders. So basically, if you own stock, you got shortchanged, and you're probably going to get a good payout.
And speaking about the WWE stock, it dipped.
Everything dipped. So we're about 2 weeks away from being announced as being in an official recession, which means we've been in a recession for about 6 months. So everything's taken a pretty big nosedive on the NASDAQ. Even the cryptocurrency is nosediving. So WWE is actually pretty still high.
Yeah. And who knows
you
how...
own stocks, that's fine. That's been around for ages. No, crypto is just a legal pyramid scheme. Just my opinion.
I don't buy things that I can't physically hold in my hand, so...
Yeah.
So we're also not going to buy your NFTs either.
Yeah, I'm not buying NFTs.
No,
Sorry.
No, fuck the NFTs. No.
So
anytime
stupid.
I swear if I see offers like, hey, claim your free NFT. Why?
No.
I'm not going to do anything with it.
And so,
South Park made a great gag about NFTs that actually kind of made sense onto why you shouldn't buy NFTs.
What's that?
Oh god, it's from the post-COVID special that they did. It's on Paramount Plus. I forget what it was, but just Butters is trying to explain, what's the value about NFTs, only for the person they talk to literally lose all their money. So.
See, to me, I don't get owning an NFT because it's like I can't do it. Okay, it's like a screenshot. Like if I don't
literally, you could screenshot this shit
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, I got this as an NFT."
But to me, it's just kind of I don't want it remember IndyCar, like they said, claim your free Indy 500 NFT. It's like no. If it were a poster you could send to me, then I could take that to Gateway and get it autographed. I can't get an NFT autographed by drivers. I can't get a WWE NFT autographed by a WWE wrestler.
It's like owning virtual trading cards. It's like, look, they may look cool, but there really is no value with them. Actual trading cards can.
If you see somebody else using your NFT, you can sue them for copyright. It's basically a copyright on a digital image.
But
good luck being an individual tracking all that down.
Exactly.
Imagine if the famous art museum, the Louvre, said, "Hey, you can now own the Mona Lisa as an NFT."
Don't give them ideas. But I will give you some ideas.
France would never do that.
But I will give you some ideas to check out some of the other videos I have on this channel, including the latest Geeking Out podcast, where EZ and I finish watching Fall Brawl 1995. There's a good match, and there's a not so good match. But feel free to watch with us.
Yeah,
and also, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling, but from the world of gaming, comic books, anime, and all things geek culture. Follow me on my social media pages, Facebook.com/AthleticGeekA9, Twitter @Athletic_Geek9, Instagram @AthleticGeekA9, and give me money. any way you want to give me money if you enjoy this content and would like to help
Except
improve
for
the channel.
crypto.
Except for crypto and NFTs, we will not.
We
We are
don't
not
accept
going
that.
to take those.
We want human monies for
No.
Athletic Geek
Yes.
World Domination.
We need human monies.
Human monies.
And CJ, do you have social media?
Yeah, I've got a Twitter at CJTML0.
Okay, and EZ, do you have social media?
Yes, I got the social media at Eric Zarins, ErikZarins. Shout out to the Podcast Wrestling Federation for being awesome. So hopefully I get them to promote more about your channel.
Yep. But for
And
EZ,
sadly, I haven't found any sponsors lately.
we have not
Still
found
looking.
not found any sponsors lately, but no crypto or NFT sponsorship, please.
No,
But for CJ and EZ, I am the Athletic Geek. We're just marks and we're out. Have a good one.